I took part in DiceCTF 2024 Qualifications, which ran from February 2nd to February 4th. As you can see, the time that I'm recording this video, I still have 3 hours till the CTF ends. I was only able to solve one challenge in this CTF. That challenge was Dice Goose in the web exploitation category. The author was not the ghost and the description is follow the leader. We are provided with a link but no source. As you can see, this is a game. I am the dice. I need to reach this thing. I can move using WASD. I figured this out by just playing around with it for 5 minutes and then I realized how it works. Now if you see, I'm touching this. Now if I press D, it will ask me for a name. I put A. Then it says you won and my score was 28. Now what does 28 mean? Well, let's see. We'll look at our source. How did we get 28? How is our score calculated? And where is our flag? If I search flag, you can see score is 9. This is the first part of our flag. The second part is our encoded history. So I'm going to paste this right here. Now let's see how our score is calculated. Score is history.length. So our score is basically our length of the history. Now our main thing, everything revolves around the history because that's a part of our flag, that's our score. Now we want our score to be 9. That means we want our history to be 9. Now what is history then? Let's see. It should be on the top. You can see history is an array, then it pushes player and goose. What is our player? Player is our player coordinates 0, 1. Goose is our goose coordinates 9, 9, which is we start 0, 1, 9, 9. Now one more thing, that the goose moves randomly. So you can see if I move this side, the goose is moving randomly every single time. So it's unpredictable. Now I want our score to be 9. That means I want 9 moves. So how can I win in 9 moves? Well, I cannot actually win this game in 9 moves, but let's say theoretically what it had to be, what our moves had to be, and how would this goose have to move in order for us to win in 9 moves. So we want our dice to go here and we would want our goose to go right here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 moves. And our first coordinate is already in the history, which is 0, 1, 9, 9. So that would be 9 moves and it would be touching. So let's see how our history is modified. So that's right there. Then you can see after our every single move, you see it moves goose randomly using math.random and math.floor, and then after the move is done, it pushes the player and goose, the new coordinates of the player and goose, into the history. So can we make our own history? Because we know what we want the player coordinates to be. From here every single move go 1 down, and we know what our goose coordinates should be, 1 to the left every single time. So we can make our own history. And by the way, if I press function F12, it opens the console. I press history and you can see we can access all the variables right here and the functions, including the encode function, which we'll be using. So as you can see, the first one is 0, 1, 9, 9. This is the player, this is the goose. So let's make our own history now. I'll go here, open another one, let modified history equals an array. Now if I press Ctrl Shift P and I type JS, I can set the syntax to JS. This is Sublime Text, and you can see it's all colored and it will recommend me stuff. So if I type modified history, I can press tab, dot push. Now let's see how we should push it. We should put it like this. We should put a square bracket like this and a closing one over here. Then we put our player. Our player is in another array, so we put another square brackets 0, 1, and do the same thing with the goose. We put another pair of square brackets, then we put 9, 9, like that. Now I'm going to copy this several more times. Okay, so let's see how our dice moves, how the coordinates change based on our dice. So if we go down, how will the coordinates change? Because that's what we want to happen. So if I press S, it goes 1 down. Let's check the history now. So you can see we have 2 elements in the history now. This is our first one, 0, 1, 9, 9, and the next one is 1, 1, 8, 9. So this doesn't matter right now because it was random, but this does. So from 0, 1 we went to 1, 1. So if I go down again, it should be 2, 1. Let's check the history now. It should have 3 elements, and it does. So it appends every single time after our move. The next one is 2, 1. So the next one would be 3, 1, 4, 1, and so on. So let us modify our history. 0, 1 was 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1. Now this is our player history. Now we need to change our goose history. Now how do we change our goose history? We want it to go 1 to the left. Now the first one, if it goes up, it goes like this. Now we want it to go this way, so we will change this to go 1 less. So this would be 9, this would be 8, this would be 7, this would be 6, this would be 5, this would be 4, this would be 3, this would be 2, and this would be 1. So you can see 8, 1, 9, 1. So 8, 1 would be right here, and 9, 1 would be right here. If I refresh this, 8, 1 and 9, 1. So the dice and the goose would be touching, and we would win the game. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in the console, and you can see 9. That means there are 9 elements in the modified history. And remember, the score was history.length. So if I do modified history.length, it will give me 9. And so we are winning in 9 moves. Now remember how the flag is calculated? Let's see again. Encode history, and as I said, we already have access to the encode function. See, it gives an error, history is undefined, but we have access to the function. So if I encode our modified history, as you can see, it gives us the encoded history. Now if I were to copy this and put it right here and put a closing bracket, this is our flag. Now if I submit this, if it says the flag is already been submitted, that means it's correct, and if it's incorrect, it would just say the flag is incorrect. So if I go here and I go submit, it says the flag was already submitted, so that means that is our correct flag. Thanks for watching. Remember to share, like, and subscribe.